The North Pole was buzzing with excitement on Christmas Eve. Snow sparkled like diamonds, elves hurried about, and Santa Claus was almost ready to take off on his magical journey. In the middle of the hustle, an elf named Jingles raced around with a huge scroll in his hands. This wasn't just any scroll, it was Santa's list of every child who had been good this year. Jingles was a young elf with bright eyes and a red and green hat that was always just a bit too big. He took his job very seriously. "Be careful with that list, Jingles," called out his friend Trixie. "It's the most important thing in the North Pole tonight." I know," Jingles said, smiling. "Don't worry, I've got it." But just as he said that, a strong gust of wind blew through the workshop doors. The scroll flew out of Jingles' hands, unfurling like a giant ribbon. Before he could grab it, the wind swept it outside and into the swirling snowstorm. Jingles' heart sank. "Oh no," he whispered. "I've lost Santa's list." Jingles darted outside into the cold night air. Snowflakes danced around him, and the wind howled. He looked left, right, and up to the sky, but the list was nowhere to be found. "Santa's depending on me," he said, tears welling up in his eyes. "What if some children don't get their presents?" Trixie rushed out to help, her cheeks rosy from the cold. "We'll find it, Jingles," she said. "We just have to believe." They searched under snowdrifts, behind candy cane poles, and even in the stables where the reindeer were getting ready. But the list had vanished. Jingles began to feel hopeless. He plopped down in the snow, his head hanging low. "I've ruined Christmas," he sighed. Trixie sat beside him and patted his shoulder. "Jingles, don't give up. You're one of the smartest elves I know. Maybe we don't need the list." Jingles looked up, confused. "What do you mean?" Trixie smiled. "You've been helping Santa check that list all year. Don't you remember most of the names?" Jingles' eyes widened. "I think I do." He jumped to his feet, excitement returning. "If I try really hard, I can remember all the children and what they wanted." "We can do it together," Trixie said. "We'll make a new list." They rushed back inside the workshop. Jingles grabbed a fresh piece of parchment and a quill. He closed his eyes and thought hard. "Okay," he began. "Samantha wanted a teddy bear. Oliver wanted a toy train. Mia wanted a storybook." Trixie nodded and added names she remembered too. The other elves gathered around, helping them recall as many names as they could. Everyone worked together, their hands flying as they wrote down wish after wish. As they finished, Santa Claus walked in, his cheeks rosy and his eyes twinkling. "What's going on here?" he asked kindly. Jingles gulped. "I lost your list, Santa, but we made a new one. We did our best to remember all the children. Santa looked at the parchment, then back at the tired, anxious little elves. A smile spread across his face. You did more than your best, Jingles. You reminded us all that working together and believing in ourselves is what Christmas is all about. With the new list in hand, Santa climbed into his sleigh. The reindeer pawed at the ground, ready to soar. Ho, ho, ho! Santa laughed. This is going to be a wonderful Christmas. As the sleigh lifted off, Jingles and Trixie waved, their hearts full of joy and relief. The stars twinkled brighter than ever, and for a moment, Jingles thought he heard the wind whisper, "Well done." That night, every child on the list, old and new, woke up to find their gifts under the tree. All because one little elf didn't give up. Moral of the story: even when things seem hopeless, teamwork and believing in yourself can save the day.